My name's Skip Lockwood, and I'm the Executive Director of PAC-B TV, Baldwinsville's public access television channel. A key component of PAC-B's mission is to provide unbiased coverage of the government and elections in Baldwinsville, Lysander, and Van Buren. On Tuesday, May 17, 2022, the Baldwinsville Central School District will hold elections to fill 3 seats on the school board. In the interest of democracy and an informed electorate, PAC-B invited all the candidates to interview on camera. 6 candidates accepted our invitation. Candidates receive the same 5 questions several days before their scheduled interview, and they have no more than 2 minutes to answer each question. PAC-B has not edited the interviews other than to arrange them into 2 episodes of 3 candidates each. The order of appearance was determined by chance. We hope that you find these interviews useful for understanding the qualifications, positions, and concerns of the individuals seeking seats on the school board. Thank you for joining me. I'm speaking with Lyndsey Hodkinson, who is running for a seat on the school board in Baldwinsville. Please tell us a little about yourself.
Thanks. So my family and I moved to the Baldwinsville area in 2018. So we had come from Carthage after my family was in the military. So we decided to relocate down here after I got a job at Syracuse University and kind of looked at a bunch of different areas, settled on Baldwinsville for the school and the community. I currently work at Syracuse University, the Daniello Institute for Veterans and Military Families, so supporting veterans and their families in communities after transition.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you. Well, let's get right in here. Question 1. What are the 3... Oh, hold on just a moment. Let me make a quick adjustment. My apologies. All right, back to question 1. What are the 3 most pressing issues facing the school district, and how do you propose addressing them?
I think over the past couple of years, not just our Baldwinsville community, but our communities in large have had so many challenges that they've had to face and overcome because of the pandemic. I think for our school districts and our kids in particular, supporting them in their mental health needs. I think also, how do they come back from COVID? So we've had so much of at-home learning, of being in school sometimes, not in school sometimes, being apart from our peers. How do we get back on track? There hasn't been as much state testing. And then how do we meet the kids where they are and where they're going to be? There's been so many changes in so many families. How do we then support them and help them through whatever transition they're going for? So I think most importantly, listening to our buildings, listening to our administration, our teachers, and our families to hear what they need. And then as a board, I think we're responsible for making sure that we provide the resources as a district to make sure that they're supported so that they can best support the kids. I think giving them access to those resources, if we have to bring somebody in, whatever it is that we need to do to make sure that our kids are supported regardless of wherever they are in their education needs.
All right, very nice. Question 2. What steps can the Baldwinsville School District take in order to remain competitive with other districts in Onondaga County?
I think we are incredibly fortunate to be in an area where we have a number of different great school districts, Baldwinsville included, of course. I was kind of taken aback when I was reading all of the other candidates' bios. And if they didn't live in Baldwinsville growing up and go to school here, it seemed that almost everybody chose this area to come back to because of the school district. And myself included. It was really close between here and another school district, and I ultimately settled on coming here because of the community. We had dinner at one of the local places, and it felt like home. You felt incredibly welcomed. And I think that it takes not just the amazing school district, but it also takes an amazing community. And I think we have that in Baldwinsville. And I think if we continue being an amazing community and welcoming, then that's going to be most important.
Okay.
And making sure that people come here and stay here.
Excellent. All right. Question 3. What is the school board member's role and responsibility? How does that role differ from that of the superintendent or the administration?
That's a really good question. So there's a very distinct line between the responsibilities of the school board and those that actually work in the building. So in my really strong opinions, we are not, as a board of education, we are not the ways to the means to the end. The board is there to support and make policy and make sure it's enacted, but it's the superintendent and the administration within the buildings to make sure that it gets done, understand, bring the recommendations to the board. But very strongly, it's not the board's job to get into the day-to-day operations of the building.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, question 4. What issues, if any, do you believe the district needs to address in its academic programs?
I think to be equitable and fair to all kids in our district, everybody needs a seat at the table. Whether it's a child with special needs, a typical child with no learning challenges, a family that is less fortunate than others, and then our families that are incredibly fortunate. Everybody needs a seat at the table and everyone needs to be heard, and I think that our school needs to really meet them wherever they are and support whatever needs that they have, whether it's special accommodations in a learning classroom, or if it's additional help, or if we need to look at how our busing works to make sure that kids can stay after for some of our amazing extracurricular activities so that they have that transportation home to support those families. I think it's making sure that everybody has a seat at the table and is treated the same.
Thank you. All right, and question 5. The school system budget is central to the success of the district. What are your budget priorities and where would you make changes?
Absolutely. It's really hard that the school budget is the only budget that the public has an opportunity to vote on. And I think that our school does a great job of being transparent about what's going into that budget, including community members in that budget process. So you can see a close look behind the scenes. I think it's really important to make sure we're staying under the tax cap so that it's not creating a too hard burden on our families in the district, but then also maintaining some really good programs like the bus buyback program to make sure that we continually have a bus fleet that is able to maintain our routes, that we're including things in capital projects to make sure that we're getting the most back out of our state aid. That I think making sure we maintain that transparency with the community, that folks come out and listen to the public hearing, that they ask questions, that's the best that we can do.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lyndsey. I really appreciate your time. And once again, I'm with Lyndsey Hodkinson, and she's running for the school board in Baldwinsville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Schraven, candidate for Baldwinsville School Board, is speaking with me tonight. Thank you for joining me, Sam. Please tell me a little about yourself.
Hi, I am running for school board this year because I love kids. I've lived in the Baldwinsville School District for 40 years in the community. My husband grew up in Baldwinsville. We raised our 2 daughters in Baldwinsville, and all 3 are graduates of Baker High School. I'm a graduate of Mohawk Valley Community College, and I worked for the Baldwinsville School District for 27 years. I was also past president of BESPA, which is the Baldwinsville Educational Support Professional Association. I have a voice on many district committees. I'm currently on the Strategic Goal Committee. I was a member of the Funding the Future Committee, and I currently sat on the Budget Advisory Committees to make the budget for the 2022-2023 school year. With that being said, I'm running to continue to have a voice for the district. I I've had direct experience working with students, with staff. I want to support the staff and entrusting that they can develop and deliver the curriculum. And I feel that my experience with the students will give me a seat on the board.
Thank you so much. Very nice. If you give me just a second to make an adjustment here.
I can barely see that. Am I like not looking at the camera?
No, you're doing great.
Okay, sorry.
Question 1. What are the 3 most pressing issues facing the school district, and how do you propose addressing them?
One issue is communicating with all stakeholders. I believe that whether being a member of the school board, being the superintendent, a teacher, administrator, parent, student, community member, we have to communicate effectively and get the word out. And by saying that, I mean figure out who our audience is, what you want them to know, and make sure that what you want them to hear is what you're saying. We have to have a good relationship, and communication is key. We have mental wellness, mental health, and safety concerns within the district that obviously have been brought on by the pandemic. We need to communicate also to parents, to families, to staff, where we can go for help. We need to encourage using our best practices of the Positivity Project, social emotionally learning practices, and we have to make sure that all those involved know where they can seek help if needed. We also need to address our aging infrastructure. We have old buildings, we have space that maybe needs to be renovated, rebuilt, reconstructed, and just looked at for programming for our students. We don't sit in a square box in lines of rows anymore. We have collaborating with students, we have group work, we have technology changes, and we need to make sure that our continuing new programming suits the needs of our students in our space.
Thank you. What steps can the Baldwinsville School District take in order to remain competitive with other districts in Onondaga County?
We have to promote the whole student and the education of the whole student. In Baldwinsville, we need to hire the best teachers. We need to hire the best support staff. We need to focus on curriculum and student achievement. We have to look at the class size. We have to look at student-teacher ratio. We have to look at special ed, the delivery of services so that all kids can get the services that they need. We have to work on the equal access to curriculum, and we have to work on promoting special curriculum programs such as Project Lead the Way or the Seal of Biliteracy program, which are great. We have to figure out a way to continue the pre-K program that we started this past year. We have to continue to look at mental wellness and how we deal with that within our district so that others know that what we're doing is the best for all students. We have a great summer school program, and we also have great extracurricular activities such as music, the fine arts, sports, clubs, intramurals. We have volunteer options for students to participate in within the district, making them being able to show that they are willing and able to be the best that they can be. We need to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like I said, promote equal access for all learning situations. We need to celebrate how we recognize our students. We do that at numerous board meetings, and we need to show other districts in our community that we are here to promote the whole wellness of every student.
Thank you so much. All right, question 3. What is a school board member's role and responsibility? How does that role differ from that of the superintendent or administration?
There are many written responsibilities of each superintendent, administrator, and school board member. school board members, support the budget, and they hire teachers, they hire superintendents, they set policy, they review policy, they review curriculum, review assessment, they review that our district is a safe learning environment for students. They take the cues of the superintendent and the administration with that vision, and hopefully can communicate what is best for the district. Our superintendent and our administrators, whether they are in HR or curriculum or running the district, have to be key communicators to the Board of Education. The board is responsible for getting all this information out to the Baldwinsville district community, regardless of what stakeholder you are. The strategic goal plans, the visions, the missions, they all have to be discussed and decided on so that the district and the Board of Education can promote equity for all students. They work with the evaluations of staff, the budget planning, and even though they each have their separate roles, they need to come together and communicate to the public what their vision is to support all students.
Excellent. Question 4, what issues, if any, do you believe the district needs to address in its academic programs?
Well, if we had unlimited supply of time and money, always being fiscally responsible to our taxpayers, some things that I would love to see happen, starting the language learning process at a younger age, maybe having the opportunity for students to study 2 languages. Always improving and increasing our technology programs. I think we learned from the pandemic that we always have to be up to date on that, whether it's teaching students how to be online and learn, or creating a website, or technology safety, and teaching DDP and different programs within our technology. It's not going away. Mm-hmm. It's only going to grow. I believe consumer science is an important program that should be promoted. It's hands-on, baking, cooking, restaurant management. I think it's something that is also something in our community that's never going away. With a business program, I would love to see more internships within our community with students and communities working directly with students, giving them the opportunity to maybe see what they want to do for the future, what works for them, or maybe what doesn't work for them, and maybe giving them the chance to experience what real work is. I also feel that the pre-K program needs to be we just need to have it grow. It's such an integral part of starting kids at a young age, and vocational training. We have to give kids the skills to have employment.
Very nice, thank you. And finally, question 5. The school system budget is central to the success of the district. What are your budget priorities, and where would you make changes?
I think, of course, we're here for the kids. The instruction component of the budget is huge. We have to continually look at the programs, how we deliver the programs, and see what's working and what's not working. We can always improve, but I think Baldwinsville does a great job at the programs they currently have. The technology piece to the budget is always going to be costly, and we always have to be up to date with our technology. Having been able to sit on the Budget Advisory Committee this year, and looking at each piece of the budget, whether it be transportation, athletics, special ed, facilities and grounds, the administrative part, it's a difficult job trying to figure out how to make all those pieces work and being fiscally responsible to the taxpayer. We're here to educate the students. We always have to look at the instruction piece. We also have to look at how we keep our buildings so that they are used in a way that can support the education we want to deliver for our students. Some of our buildings are old, and some of our buildings need repair. So how do we do that cost effective? That's another piece that we have to look at. Special ed. These kids deserve the best services that we can deliver to them. They are a huge part of our community, our Baldwinsville education community, and I support every initiative for special education, having worked for 27 years with special ed children. So putting that all together is a puzzle that we have to figure out.
Thank you so much, Sam. We really appreciate your time. I'm speaking with Sam Schraven, and she is a candidate for school board in Baldwinsville. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Denise Falso, Baldwinsville school board candidate, joins me now. Thank you for speaking with me, Denise. Please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure, thank you. My name is Denise Falso, and I currently serve on the Baldwinsville Board of Education, and I am seeking re-election. I have lived in Baldwinsville since 2015 with my husband, Anthony, and my 3 children, Enzo, who's 14, Sergio, who's 11, and Juliana, who's 8 years old. I'm a science teacher for the Fulton City School District. I was motivated to run for re-election to continue the work that we started over the past few years, including transparency. Transparency has been a very big deal for me, and I'd like to continue working on that for our district. There's a very large learning curve when you first become a new board member. I've been through that already and would like to continue. I've been through a superintendent search, and I'm excited to work with him and the rest of the team on opportunities for kids. He welcomes questions and getting us the information we need to make informed decisions. I'm fortunate that I get to see the district through 4 distinct perspectives: a mom with kids in the district, a community member, taxpayer, a teacher, and a current board member.
All right, thank you. Just give me a second here, and we'll... All right, question 1. What are the 3 most pressing issues facing the school district, and how do you propose addressing them?
So we have yet to fully understand the full extent of the learning loss the pandemic had on our kids. We'll soon have that data. We'll know where the gaps are, and we have a superintendent that wants everyone to see that data that can help the board make decisions on where to allocate resources to help with this. This is a baseline year for Baldwinsville, and we'll soon have that data, which we're fortunate to get. Also, every so often, we need to evaluate programs and initiatives that have been implemented in the past to evaluate their effectiveness. So if they prove effective, we keep them. If not, we should be having discussions on where to go from there. What topics and experiences can we also offer our students to raise engagement and interest in school? And a way to possibly find out what that is to survey kids, survey staff, to see what they're interested in. Another topic is discipline in the schools and working on kids' social skills. I think, especially with the pandemic, some call it soft skills. It would be wise to kind of work on those skills. And we have some programs within our district right now that's helping with that. So I think kind of continuing on with those discussions would be beneficial.
Excellent, thank you. Question 2. What steps can the Baldwinsville School District take in order to remain competitive with other districts in Onondaga County?
So I don't want Baldwinsville to be competitive with other school districts. I want us to be a leader. I want other districts to look to us and try to be competitive with us. That's the goal. So of course, if you had to pick something, there's the academic component, but many issues that would help us be a leader that certain people may not necessarily notice would be things like accountability, transparency issues, purposeful questions not being asked, and things being rubber stamped. Over the past 3 years, we've changed things, and we need to keep it up. Unfortunately, some have taken board questions the wrong way, and a recent example of that would be at a previous board meeting, two board colleagues asked about a book that was being recommended for 6th grade students, but it was at a K through 2 reading level. And so board members asked about that just to kind of see, why that would be a good book to use for 6th graders. And, it seems like a reasonable question, but sometimes people take that the wrong way. So I think asking questions and getting information to make decisions is very important. We also have a great plan with capital projects moving forward to help support our facilities that are fiscally responsible to our taxpayers and maintain programs for our kids, which is very important.
Excellent. All right. Question. My apologies. Let's go again with question 3. What is the school board member's role and responsibility? How does that role differ from that of the superintendent or administration?
So this is a good question. They're all good questions, but this in particular, we're fortunate that we don't need to guess what our role is. As a board member, we actually have a New York State Education Law 1709 that outlines exactly what our role is. And so I printed it out. There's 42 parts to it. So it outlines everything. And also, over the past 3 years, myself and other board colleagues have worked on a board manual to kind of have information in there for new board members that join. And in there's a great flow chart that shows you what the board does, what the superintendent does. And so really the board asks the what, the why, the how much, and how well. And then the superintendent does the how, the when, the where, and the by whom. So we also have a very nice table in there that kind of goes through all of that. It says, the board decides what, the superintendent decides how. We review and approve plans, they implement plans. So it's all pretty much outlined for us.
Very nice. Thank you. All right. Question number 4. What issues, if any, do you believe the district needs to address in its academic programs?
So we know that we have kids that are college bound. We have our AP programs, which is wonderful. So my thought is, what are the possibilities of dual enrollment programs in our schools where students would have the incredible support system from our amazing teachers and staff in our buildings and be able to have that opportunity? I would like to see more opportunities for kids that cannot or do not want to go to college. We need to make sure we're offering opportunities so they can transition when they leave us. Can we offer any house trade programs or in-house pathways programs for those students? Can we reach out to the community to find out what skills are needed and provide internship opportunities, provide job shadowing or mentoring programs for kids that want them? I stated before with one of the other previous questions about how important it is to evaluate programs and initiatives that have been implemented in the past to evaluate their effectiveness. And this is really important in this question as well. So if they prove effective, then we keep them for our kids. If not, then we should be having those discussions on where to go from there. Do we get rid of them? What's next? What else can we do? So.
All right. Thank you. And finally, question number 5. The school system budget is central to the success of the district. What are your budget priorities, and where would you make changes?
So really anything that provides kids opportunities and helps them grow. So music, sports, extracurricular activities, all help that happen. It enhances them academically and as a person. I believe professional development for teachers and staff is important as well. Most of our costs go to people providing services to our kids, so that not only includes teachers, but other very important people, including bus drivers, custodial staff, and food service, just to name a few. They all are involved in the student experience. I personally will not support cutting programs for kids. We have had to make adjustments to our capital project. The original $89 million capital project would have had a high impact on taxpayers, and we would have had to cut programs for kids. I am happy that the new capital project that we will vote on May 17th has improvements for kids, has a low impact on our taxpayers, especially after the pandemic, and allows us to maintain programs for kids. We have a great plan moving forward that will hopefully include all of what was not able to go into the capital project this time around.
All right, very nice. Thank you so much. As I said, I'm with Denise Falso, who's a candidate for the Baldwinsville School Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our school board candidate interviews. We hope that you found these interviews useful for understanding the qualifications, positions, and concerns of the individuals seeking seats on the Baldwinsville School Board. The school board election will occur on Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. Please be sure to participate in this important election. All the interviews may be streamed on PAC-B's YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo channels at any time.